All right, y'all.
Oh wait, where's my? So we can just say whatever you ask it. Like we're just answering.
We're just gonna be a normal podcast.
Okay.
Yeah, just act like it's just a normal.
Women are
No,
just.
but shush.
Okay. Oh wait, is this
This
record?
is why
Is this?
we didn't invite you, and now you're saying all this wild stuff, man. It's professional.
All right.
Professional.
Hey guys, welcome back. Oh, wait, hold on. Is the volume?
I like
Hey
the volume.
guys.
Okay. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Tea Time. We are back in an on-location area. I'm your host, John. We have we got three special guests. So listen, I wrote the intro for this one particular guest because I thought he was gonna be the only one here, and my headphone cord is literally gonna. Hold on. It's about to yank every single equipment in this studio, and I will be mad if that happens. Ugh. Okay. Okay. All right, we're a bit of a time crunch here, but anyways, yeah, this episode is basically specifically about our short film Intertwined. It is on YouTube. If you guys can go watch it, please, thank you very much. But yeah, it was uploaded back in June.
Around that time.
Around that time. But yeah, introducing our guests, I have to refer the notes to my phone for this particular one. Hold on, timeout. All right, introducing one of our guests. He is not only a part of the starring role in Intertwined as North Jacobs, but one half of the directing, writing, and production role of this film. A whole lot of people mistaken him as another ethnicity. Please welcome my good friend Javier Valencia.
Hey, nice to meet you. Nice to be here.
Guys, he's Muslim.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
And we have our two other guests here. We got the power couple of in the studio. We got I forgot your role, Maddie. I'm sorry.
I
What?
was the editor.
She was
You-
the editor
you-
for quite literally all of it.
She was
I
the
was Dylan's
she's
wife, right?
yeah,
Whatever character.
Oh
Dylan
yeah,
played.
she was okay. So she was Dylan's wife.
yes.
She was the editor.
Uh-huh.
Last minute editor, by the way.
Yes.
And she was a big key role for this movie. She played a lot of important parts for this movie. We needed a lot of motivation for it, and she was there for it.
Okay. And then we also got the Uber driver for
That's my only role in this movie.
Yeah.
Please.
Then
I
we got
criticize
the Uber driver and the boyfriend. That's about it. All right,
good.
go with
we
questions.
got the Uber driver and that's pretty much it. Landon and Maddie. So
Hi.
welcome guys to Tea Time, for your first ever appearance and our second on location episode. So I just want to get we just want to talk about the film behind the scenes, since obviously we had problems coming
Major.
forth with this film, including me and Javi, because obviously me and Javi are the directors, producers, and the writers for this film. So referring to my notes here, so we let's just go with how it all started. So me and Javi had this idea, or technically I made up the idea based on this mobile game. Remember that?
No.
No,
I do. It was that mobile game that was one of those detective
Yeah.
clue
Oh
ones.
yeah, I
And you
remember
had
now. I
murder on the
remember.
screen.
It was Murder in the Alps. You remember that?
I
right?
remember now.
It was
Yeah.
no murder
He
on
made
the
me
Alps.
get the app and play it for a while to understand the story. We were gonna base the whole entire whole entire short off of that game,
Mhm.
and I got pretty bored of it.
I
Pretty
know.
Quickly.
Well, because for me, I was really, really invested into that. And then I told Javi, was like, hey, you should play this, but we should also have a film based on it.
Yeah.
And then that's what we did. That's how that's how the idea came. And then you did not come up with the title till we were.
I did not. No, we started writing the story, and then maybe after a few days, I kind of just came up with
the title.
the title, which was Intertwined. And the reason why I thought about that was because this was based off of a detective game. It kind of gave me the idea of those really cheesy movies where everything's tied,
Yes.
it's oh, well, I did this to prepare for you, and it's it goes back in time, shows a flashback, and then there's oh, well, I did this. It's kind of I don't know if you guys watched Bullet Train, but everything's just connected, right? Everything it always goes back in time because oh, there's always something in preparation.
Did you guys watch Bullet Train?
Yeah, I've seen Bullet Train. I've seen it 3 times.
Three times. What about you, Maddie?
My dad watched it and I was in the room, so I don't remember.
I
much
think that's the
about
best we're gonna get.
I like that movie.
But yeah,
But yeah, that's basically kind of where I got the idea
We had-
of the name, just intertwined, just fate, just kind of lines, and then they're just intertwined, no
Yeah.
matter where they go. that's where they're connected.
But we had that writing problem. We had that location.
Yeah.
Before we did we I think we casted we casted you before, and we haven't casted Maddie until like
Last second. She wasn't part of film. At
Yeah,
the time,
she
so we
wasn't
didn't
part-
really- and there was like an awkward state between me and Maddie at the time.
Uh-oh.
We didn't talk, we didn't do anything like and so like I couldn't necessarily get in contact with her. And at the time, I don't think you guys were you guys
No,
weren't together at the
they,
time, right?
they were not together.
So yeah, they weren't even together at the time. So Landon was like my only way I could get to Maddie, because he was kind of like the messenger in a way.
Yeah.
I was
And
not aware
No,
that
I
this
think
was such
the-
a complex process.
it was
You
a
could've
bit of a
just
complex
texted me.
process.
I think I think we got like Maddie to be part of it, because I remember there's this one time she you were in the studio like that one. I think it was
Yeah.
like with Kaylee.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
And
she
Cole was making fun of me because I told him I wanted to major in film, and he was like, "Why haven't you been taking video production for the past few years?"
That's true.
And I was like, "I don't know."
As
Those
I
are
mean,
cringe.
like yeah, it was like last second casting, and then also with the writing, we had like that location problem with your friend Javi.
Yeah, so basically what happened was a friend of mine offered I don't know if it was his
was a
his
studio.
house or his it was kind of like a warehouse in a way.
I think it was both.
He offered both at the time, but his dad has like cuz he also works in the industry, like the film industry.
Yeah.
So his dad's not always around. He's traveling all over the place, and at the time within that week of an opening, right? That was our planning. That was us making the film, or like screenwriting and then all that stuff, storyboarding. And so the problem with that was within that time limit, he left. Like his dad left
That
at the
was
time.
unfortunate.
And
though.
very unfortunate because we were I mean, okay, to be honest with you, I feel like that story was very like what's the word I'm looking for? Like when you're kind of like striving to get like super, like you have very high expectations.
Ambitious, yeah.
It was a very ambitious script, because we were first placing this in like an apartment or like a hotel,
Yeah,
right?
hotel.
And we were gonna use
Could've rented it out.
a
You could've
house as a
It-
hotel.
Yeah, it was a hotel setting, and then it was cut off, and we had Ron Paul's office that was cut off, and we had 3 days to there was 3 days left to start filming the thing. Me and Javi were panicking. We did not know what to do until he was like, "We should go to the wash." I was like, "What the fuck is the wash?" And then until he showed me like a picture of it, it was like, "It's just a trail," and I'm like, "Oh yeah, okay, we could probably work
We
something."
could work with it. Like it's
Yeah.
okay. So like obviously at the time we were very like strict with our script. We didn't want to change it.
We had to rewrite the
But
entire.
we had to rewrite a lot of it. Like we were thinking about making it in like a hotel. Like, oh, there's a hotel murder, and then the doors are locked because it's snowing.
Yeah.
And it was just, for one, we live in California. It never snows here. Like it does not snow here.
But it was rain that we
It
were
was
talking about.
raining, but it wouldn't have worked. Like nobody's gonna stay in a house with a murderer if it's raining. That's not how it works.
It's not logical. It doesn't make
Like I
any
said,
logical
ambitious,
sense.
and like every like problem that we came up with at the time, I was like a very very new like I was very new to the whole the screenwriting and
Yeah.
and so
You're also
obviously
new to the class.
yeah. So at the time, every problem we came up with, I'm like, oh, Hollywood magic. Like 'cause, in movies, obviously there's something that you can't explain, but the movie has to be good enough for you to just kind of like, whatever, I'll enjoy the movie. But this is a short, and this
And
is
it wasn't
my
good
first.
enough.
Yeah, this was my first short, and so obviously it wasn't good enough for me to like. I was like, whatever. Like every problem I had, like majority of that short was Hollywood magic, like whatever. Nobody's
Yeah.
gonna care, right?
Yeah.
But obviously, when it's like in a short film, every little detail matters because you're trying to condense so much within like 5 minutes of a short.
Yeah, and that leads to production, which all of us were a part. I mean, except for Maddie, because like Maddie was like cast at the last minute. Landon was there, you were there, I was there, Ron Paul was there.
And also at the time, Landon was actually pointing out all these flaws in the script, and I didn't like it, which is why I didn't talk to him afterwards. And that was
Did you
my
get
mistake.
pissed at him?
No, I didn't get angry. I was just more like I thought like this script is so good, and like because he's not like the main star of it, I thought he was getting angry.
No.
And that was a really dumb way of thinking about it. Because whenever he was pointing out every little mistake that there was in there,
Yeah.
which was every single time I was always like Hollywood magic. That doesn't work. And like I said, I was very new to like filmmaking, and so I should have listened to Landon. And so right when I started listening to him, when I started changing stuff, right, that's when stuff started working out.
Yeah.
You know, nonetheless, production was super difficult though. Like I
the worst part.
thought pre-production was difficult.
It's never.
Man, was I in for something, dude?
Because like we had problems at day one. We had problems at day one. We had like we had something with I think it was like our camera issue, and then we not even like production, but like planning ahead, before production, like scheduling. I think it was.
Oh yeah, scheduling was such a big problem.
I know.
Yeah.
Because we had, I mean, honestly, I think it was like we got lucky either way.
Yeah.
Because we casted the perfect, like what, 5, 6 people.
Luckily, Landon has Maddie as her like transportation.
Yeah. So they like wherever he went, she had to go.
She had to go.
So I mean,
remember-
it just it worked out. Like with all those problems, I don't know what would have happened if there was just one more problem. Like,
It's
'cause
crazy. Yeah.
people in the, I got to give props to the people that we casted because they worked it
Especially
into
these
their
two right
schedule.
here.
Yeah.
That's, yeah.
They worked it into their schedule. Like there was always problems. There was like people who had practice. There was people who had
Yeah, Sarah had
sport.
pra-
Yeah,
yeah, Sarah had practice.
Dylan. They had sports, right?
Yeah, of course.
So basically, like they made it to where it's like okay, right after practice because they were in their sports stuff, and that's where we had to work with it, right?
Yeah.
So the story, basically, we made it to where it's like, oh, it's going to be a fundraiser, where they like run for a while. You know?
Yeah.
Like it's like a marathon fundraiser, right?
Yeah, just
And so that it worked. It worked. Like it just kind of explained, oh, why are they in the sports gear? You know,
oh yeah, that's okay.
that's
now I
why-
can see it. I can see it.
that's why it worked the way it did, right?
Yeah.
So then I also had to get dressed for it. And then basically what happened was it was majority of the the problems that I saw was me as like a director and like trying to get everything done.
Yeah.
I always got distracted. Like
You were-
I, like
yeah,
I would
we were-
I was so dumb. I'm like, okay, because when we had like maybe 4 out of the 6 characters,
Yeah.
I would wait on those 2, and I wouldn't film anything. And that was my mistake. Because then at the time when they finally made it, obviously we wouldn't have time to film anything.
Yeah.
You know, and that was a big difficulty that I had because I always waited for everybody to be there. That was such a dumb move.
Yeah. I
We
also want
wasted
to.
so much time.
I also want to point out one thing. I remember you told me not to mention this on the podcast, but we want to
oh,
talk.
you're gonna mention it back.
I want to
Okay.
talk about the hammer. The hammer.
No.
Well, okay. So yeah, the hammer. I think Maddie remembers this. Landon wasn't there.
I remember. I was there when you lost the
Oh yeah. Landon was there. Maddie was there. I want to talk about the hammer. The hammer was it played a key role.
Okay. So the hammer was the murder weapon within the short, right?
And it got lost.
And it got lost. Yeah, short. Long story short, the hammer my dad used for work.
Like what you said, we were all distracted. We couldn't find the hammer the next day of production.
Yeah, so
were all
I
freaking
found
out.
out that we lost it the day after I left it in the wash, and it wasn't where I left it. Because we were filming it, I knew exactly where I left it, and it wasn't there. So I knew somebody took it,
I feel like during production, we were also trying to find it while recording that one
which
scene.
was also a big waste of time.
Yeah. Oh well. I mean, at least it adds up to the story. It's just like we didn't show the hammer. We just mentioned it. That's it. We didn't show anything, and it was crazy. You were freaking out. I was freaking
I
out.
was freaking out because I took it without my dad's permission. For one, I'm like, I went on a whim, and I'm like, well, I'm a responsible kid. I'm not gonna lose it.
And you lost it.
I lost it. So it was a very big issue. And like there was just so many problems within the shoot, and like it was just such a big issue. Like I kept losing
Yeah.
everything. Like and not losing as in like losing items. I just kept losing like my patience. I lost my.
You lost your cool that one time.
I did. Okay, so I definitely I had less patience after a certain person in our group got in trouble for staying a little longer than they had to.
Yeah.
And after that, that's where my discipline went up. Like I was responsible for them getting back home on time.
Yeah.
And so that's where I put the responsibility on my back because I like having a good, vibe in the set. But if that means that we don't get any work done and we have to stay longer than we have to, I have to be the mean person there because nobody wants to be the mean guy on set.
Of course.
But there has to be someone who's mean. There has to be someone who pushes to get something done.
Yeah.
Because obviously work isn't necessarily something everybody wants to get done. But when it comes to filming, because it's such a creative little area, people like to keep going on little rants about, oh, hey, what if we do this? What if we do that? What if we do this? What if we do that? And we start having big conversations about what could happen. And so I had to be the mean person and say, hey, let's just get it done. Like,
Yeah.
you know.
I would like to point out, I don't know like post production of this podcast, but whatever is good. Like if I decided to add like the reaction on screen of the short film, because I remember you had no reaction to like whatsoever to my like character.
Yeah.
You were-
So what happened after the specific person got in trouble?
Yeah, you were dead.
Everybody left except for me and John. It was just us, right? And what happened was my acting went well because it wasn't acting. So I was supposed to be like kind of sad and like I lost like, you know, because everybody was like dead in the film, right? And like, oh, I lost everything. I didn't know what was going on. In a normal circumstance, I probably would have lost it because he was screaming at me. He was full on screaming at me.
You would be
know, he was in
laughing.
character. I would have been laughing, right? But this person got in trouble because of me, right? I did not feel good after that. I felt horrible after that. And so I didn't react whatsoever to him screaming at me, which was what I was supposed to do. But it looked so good on film that like it worked out because I didn't want to laugh at anything at the time.
Yeah. I saw like I thought it was just acting until you told me. That was like, oh, sorry. I was like, oh, she got like in trouble. I just feel bad. And then also like with you two, I don't know if I should be pointing this out, but this is before you two were dating. And then I remember when Maddie left with Landon, your father was like talking to you about it, right? I remember.
Yeah, okay, so it was more about like he was talking about how he wanted to drive Landon.
Yeah.
Because my parents have this rule, you guys already know about it, where like they have a certain rule, and Landon and Maddie weren't necessarily following that rule, but it wasn't necessarily their choice. I'm not gonna say what you guys did, but and it's not what you guys did, because like I said, you guys weren't dating, you guys weren't anything, so it wasn't. It's not what you guys
Killed
think.
the guy. it's just under.
I mean, if you guys want to say
I
it.
don't care.
I just drove him home.
The
Yeah,
rule,
that-
but literally,
yeah, but you weren't-
literally, the rule is it doesn't like being driven
by
if you're
someone who's around my age, like
around
and
your
it's not
age.
obviously if I'm like 25, they don't want like someone who's like 26 to drive, and that's not like that. It's more like they don't want young drivers driving me around because like at the time they're like young drivers who were getting in crashes was already. I mean, it was already at like young drivers are always
be young
the
drivers.
highest, yeah. But they were like, I don't know what it was, but there was like a spike on that stuff on the news.
Of course, they're gonna show.
So of course, my parents were a bit,
Iffy about
protective over. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
well, it was understandable, but
like it was that combination of problems all happening at the same time that made my like just having no reaction at all.
Yeah.
You know.
okay, just to touch on this. Okay, I want to four of us. So there is, I think, like what, 7 people part of this film?
Yes.
8 people.
Around.
I have some gripes.
This is part of the list of things to say, but I just want to get your touch. Not like no bias here. Like I don't want you to be biased. I just want you to be honest. Like who do you think has like that like shit? Who do you think had that like who do you think did well on this film in particular? I want you to
Acting wise or
Yeah,
just like overall, just in general?
acting wise.
Acting wise,
I want you to-
Ron Paul, obviously.
Ron Paul.
Yeah, I was gonna say Ron Paul too. He played a good role as Detective Phelps.
Yes, he. It's because he's already a very good actor. Like
Yeah.
he has experience.
If you guys haven't seen the other
So-
episode with me and him,
Yeah,
You can go check it out.
Ron Paul is like on a different level when it comes to acting. Like he can be laughing so much before a shoot, and
Yeah.
then he could just turn it off.
Yeah,
Like,
he
I don't know.
can.
I don't know how he does it, and I want to learn how he does it
Me too.
because it's such a good skill to have. Especially if you're going to be in the film industry.
it is crazy that, like, cause like he played a good role, and then he executed it well to
Mhm.
where
it affected other people.
it
on the
affected
set.
other people. Yeah,
Because it was like more of like when he turned it off, everybody else had to turn it off. Like everybody else had to stop laughing.
yeah, Alright.
And I loved it. It helped with the shoot so well.
yeah,
It helped a lot.
yeah. He also helped out with like makeup wise. He
He did a lot more than just acting. Yeah.
And then like it just gives him that like that's why we put his name as like credit for all the other roles. Like I think he
Also, I
was,
want to mention real quick. There was a stunt pad that he also brought.
Yeah.
Didn't work. It didn't work. I was the one who fell on that stunt pad, so I know for a fact it didn't work.
wait, what? Oh yeah,
It was like it might as well have been a yoga mat. It was like it didn't feel good when you fell on it. Obviously, it was better than falling on rocks. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Because we like I said, it was in the wash. Like it was like where there's a bunch of rocks, grass, stuff like that.
Well, I remember falling into like a mattress during Max's film or short film.
Mattress.
I know it's a mattress, but I think I had to. Did I fall into too? I think I did. Right.
Well, on the thing
On the mat, yeah.
mat?
I think I did, right?
For,
Yeah.
for that?
No, yeah, I did. I did towards the end.
Yeah, but it wasn't. That was a real mattress.
No.
That was a
Okay,
real
what
life
you did?
thing.
No, what you did? No. It was for our film. You fell on it, and what happened was when you fell on it,
I
you
low-key
fell.
missed.
You not. I don't know if you missed, but you didn't necessarily like fully commit to the fall. What you did, and it was smart. I should have done it, and I'm an idiot for not doing it. But you kind of like angled yourself and you push yourself forward as you fell, so it was more of like a slide instead
Yeah.
of just a straight up just fall.
Yeah.
Me being like, because I'm like, this is Ron Paul, like he's got the good stuff. He's got like, if this is a stunt pad, this is a stunt pad. So what I did was I just jumped on it, like I fell, like completely.
You idiot.
Yeah.
I mean, well, yeah, it hurts. It hurts like a bitch, but like I mean, you can just end up a few bruises and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean, well, yeah. And then final product, or actually no, before we're just gonna skip those because we're running out of time. The potential prequel to the film. I mean,
It's gonna be better, but the only thing I'm afraid of is it being as bad as the first one. I don't like Intertwined. I don't like that short, and it's one of those mistakes that I don't want to ever look back on. So in order to make it good, that means I have to look back on it, and I have to rewatch it just to see what happened.
We're gonna have to rewrite. We're gonna have to plan.
But it's definitely gonna be better than the first one if we do.
Yeah. Anyways, we were running out of time, y'all. We're gonna end off the 10th episode. We reached the 10th episode of Tea Time here. But yeah, thank you guys so much for joining me. But okay, you can press that button.
Yes.
That is loud. But yeah, anyways, thank you guys so much for tuning in to the 10th episode of Tea Time. I don't have an inspirational quote because we're running out of time. But anyways, yeah, 10 episodes already. Jesus Christ, we are killing it. Again, David and Matthew will be back in the next episode. Yeah, follow all of us on our social medias, and yeah, we'll see you in the next episode. Peace.
We gotta have an episode.